Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to be building a large modern mansion. I'm a pretty slow builder and this lot took a really long time to do. I looked at all of the videos of the build and in the end it ended up being about 18 hours. So because of that I've decided to split it into two videos and have one showcasing the more interesting parts of it, and then I'm going to upload like the raw, not the raw footage because that's 18 hours, but like a speed build video separately. The speed build is going to be like about 4 hours. I'm not even sure if you can upload videos of that size to YouTube because I've never tried, and I think the largest YouTube videos I've seen have been about 3 hours, and that's usually like a stream or something. So it's a very long video and I don't expect most people to watch it, but since I had the footage I decided like I'll upload it anyway, and I'll include a link in the video description to the full build. But this is just like a shorter video talking about some of the highlights of the build. So I think part of the reason it took so long was I don't tend to plan my builds before doing them, and this was just huge. And I also am a bit like perfectionist about it. Like I'll spend a really long time picking like small details and like what objects to put where, especially with the interior stuff. So that took a really long time to do. If I thought about it now, I would probably separate it into the exterior of the build and like the interior, and then maybe separate it into two videos that way. But even then, this took just way too long. So I'm definitely gonna have to find a way to speed up the process if I decide to make large build videos again in the future. So before I started building the lot, I actually went on Google Images and looked up images of like a bunch of exteriors of large modern mansions with pools and such, and then I kind of created a mood board of reference images to look at. Most of them are the exterior, and it kind of shows like I didn't plan the interior anywhere as much. There's a lot less images that I based it on. I knew that I wanted to have pool, like windows looking into the pool on a lower level, so you can see Sims swimming around, because I thought that would be pretty cool. So one thing I knew I wanted to do that was based on the image, or one of the images, was there's like a little seat area underneath the staircase on the outside of the building, and I really wanted to like try and recreate that. So to do that I basically just had like a little indented wall area, and then I used the ottoman from the Glamour Life stuff as the kind of seating area, and I used the move objects on sheet to like, I increased it in size so that it filled the area, and then moved it up so that it looks like there's like a little bench there under the stairs. On the inside, because it was quite big, so on the inside I built a kind of little wall area around it so that you can't see it and it's not just clipping through the wall. And then I used like, I think one of the smallest like half wall tool to like go underneath it and make it seem like it's like above the surface area, because you can see like in the image there's like a little gap between the floor and where the seat is. So there are two main pool areas in this build, one on the ground floor and one on the first floor, and this is like the first floor area I'm building at the moment. There are a bunch of flowers going around the edge of this area, and basically in the image I couldn't make out exactly what flowers they were, but there was like large leaves and then some white flowers. So to do that I basically used the move object sheet, and because there were no flowers that looked exactly like what I wanted, I basically added low-lying palm plants around the edge of the build, and then used the move object sheet to move the Domek floral floor vase, I think it's called, because they had some like nice white flowers, and then I put those in the middle of the palm plants around the edge to kind of give the illusion that they're like one flower. You can't see the vase because it's like hidden by the bottom of the walls, so I thought that worked pretty well. And then I added like some other blue flowers around just to mix it up a bit and give it some more colour. So as in the image, I added some sofas and chairs. There's actually a little fire in the photo, but there's not really any way I can recreate that, at least not with the packs I have installed, so instead I decided to put like the little fish fountain there because I thought that was pretty cool looking, and I added a bunch more fountains later to so it's kind of like a fun pool, because I figured like that area, like you could have kids sort of playing in it, and then you've got like a longer pool along the other side where you can swim and do lengths and stuff, although it is a bit narrow. So there were a lot of like large empty areas around the pool, so I decided to add like a bunch of candles around because I thought that would give it like a bit more personality and make it seem a bit more lived in. I also added like a little rug under the bench area and a bunch of like pillows. So on the ground floor I decided to have the pool go into the library area, and I basically built like a large library. There's a little private room with a secret bookcase door, which is like designed to be a sort of hidden secret kind of area. There are a bunch of skilling objects I added to that in the build, but yeah, it's meant to be like a kind of secret hideaway office. So for the ground floor pool, as with the image, I created a raised platform and then built the pool into that. I also added a little bar using the move object sheet around the edge of the platform and some bar stools. And then I added like a little ottoman in the corner with some pillows. There were actually two very similar images I was looking at, and I don't have the other one as part of the mood board, but in the other image basically there was an ottoman next to the stairs. So yeah, you've got this raised bit and then you've got another bit that's like actually on the ground floor next to the bar and next to the pool, and I wanted to create that effect with my build too. So I basically had the platform that the pool is in be level with like the foundation of the main house so that it could connect together, and then I put like some little stairs in and had this lower area, and I put like wood floor there, and I used the move object sheet to like put the sofas so that it looks like they're connected a bit like in the image, and I added a bunch of pillows just to give it like a little bit more personality instead of just plain white sofas. And I put a coffee table in the middle and put some bits and pieces there, and then I put another bar at the end because that way like Sims can have drinks and sit around the pool. And in the photo there are actually lights under the stairs, but obviously in The Sims there are no stairs with lights, so I just basically used the cutlass of light object and used the move object sheet to move the lights so that they were under the stairs leading up to the main part of the house. So for the outside, next to the ground floor area, I added some palm trees, like in the photo, and also a little balcony area, which leads into the master bedroom. And then I put like a little table and a barbecue area outside the, just by the edge of the building, and that room became the kitchen because I thought that made sense to put it there. So there are 4 floors as part of this build, I think. Basically the maximum amount of floors you can have. I ended up hitting the cap for the first time ever. I don't think I've ever built anything that hit it before. But yeah, so there are about 4 floors, and it's a really large build. There are 5 bedrooms, a gym, a music room, like a little art studio area on the top floor, then there's another bedroom on that floor, a couple of kids' bedrooms, a nursery area, a couple of like like 3 different sort of small living areas, couple of fireplaces. It's like really sizable, which is why it took so long to build. I put some like windows around the edge of the balcony because you can't build fences on top of half walls, unfortunately, and move objects doesn't work on build tools. So that was like my hacky way of like creating a glass fence on top of the half wall. And I added lots of windows everywhere because I wanted it to have a very open kind of feel, and also, as in the images, there's a lot of windows around the edge. The design of these 2 buildings in the 2 photos are actually quite different in some ways, so putting them together was kind of interesting. Initially I was going to do 2 separate builds, but they're both so big that I decided against it and just decided to try and merge them together into one build. But it was definitely interesting because obviously they are pretty different designs. So one thing that's always bugged me about The Sims is that you can't actually have curved walls. You can have like octagonal rooms, but everything has to be it's all very blocky and there's no curves, which is actually why I'm quite interested in the new upcoming game, Paralives. It's a life simulator, and I've looked at the build tools in the videos that have been released so far on their channel, and it's really, really cool. You can build curved walls, which is just amazing, and there's a bunch of interesting stuff. I'm really like excited about this game. There's no release date at the moment. It's still in development, but it's really exciting because obviously the Sims series has pretty much had a monopoly on life simulation games since it came out, which is really weird actually, because I can't think of another genre of video game that has had no competition throughout its entire run. But yeah, so that's coming out at some point, and I'll include like a link in the video description to that, because I think it's looking like really cool so far. There are a bunch of videos that have been released. Like, even I found out about it pretty early, but the progress that's been made since I like discovered this game is great. I may actually make a video at some point talking about that, because it's obviously kind of off topic here, but yeah. So like, you can't have curved walls in The Sims, and you can't have curved pools either, although I know there are like ways to make it seem like there are curved pools, but there's no tool for curved pools, and there was in like The Sims 3, I think. Yeah, I think that's where they added it, and maybe The Sims 2 as well. I can't completely remember, but definitely in one of the previous games there was a curved pool tool because I used it, and yeah, I just kind of, I miss the like little things like that. So I decided to put some plants in the front garden area, but I didn't want them all to be like in a square formation. Now obviously you can place the plants in a circular kind of way, but I wanted to put like a little fence around the plants. There is the black fence, obviously, like the really small one, which is kind of perfect for this sort of thing, and I did use it for the rectangular plant area and another plant area, but like I decided I wanted to try and build like a curvy kind of fence around one area of the plants. So to do that, what I basically did was take and this took a really long time actually, like I don't know that it was really worth it in hindsight. Like, for what it was, I don't think it was probably worth the effort, but it was an interesting experiment, and what I basically did was like resized one of the kitchen counters. I like coloured it black so that it was like a solid black object, and then made it really tiny, and I cloned, like I bought like a bunch of them and placed them and put them down in like a kind of curved area, like gradually rotating every one of them. And then once that was done, I put like all the plants into it, and so then you have that little curved area. I resized one of the cars and put it in the drive as well, also there's like a little driveway. But yeah, I do kind of wonder why they haven't added cars into The Sims 4, because obviously they were in the 2 previous games, and not in the base game obviously, but like there are a lot of expansions for The Sims 4, but no cars, and yeah, I'm not sure if there's like a reason for that, but it's odd. So yeah, and in the outside pool I decided to add a bunch of rocks. I was going for like a kind of waterfall effect, and so I resized them and just like put a bunch there. There's like the little pool area behind it, so the rocks can be hidden and not clip through the private room next to the library. In the end I didn't end up putting it all the way to the top, because that was my initial goal, but I realised that I don't know, it would be too rectangular looking, I think, and also I was sort of going a bit insane moving the rocks into the perfect like position, so in the end I just stopped with like having this small little rock pile that's halfway up the wall, and then like there are a bunch of fountains going from the pool on the above floor into the bottom pool. Unfortunately the spray from the fountains doesn't like reach the ground floor pool because it stops like halfway in the air, but yeah, there was nothing I could really do about that because there's like no way to edit that animation. So I based the kitchen on this photo, and so like in the photo, there's 2 hobs and ovens, so I put them there and then put like a little counter in the middle to put a few bits and pieces on. It's not exactly like in the photo, but that's impossible to recreate completely. I had a few island counters, one had a sink in, and later I added a bar. There's not one in the photo, but I just thought there should probably be a bar in the kitchen. I mean, it's big enough, so there has to be a bar somewhere. And then I put like a microwave on top of a counter and added some cabinets above it so that it sort of looked similar to the photo where it's all like one cupboard with the microwave in the middle. I didn't want it to affect like the functionality of the microwave, and I hadn't play tested it, so I left a bit of a gap instead of having it like all connected together. And then I added some shelves and some lights and the window in the middle, and then there's a sink because there's 2 sinks in the photo kitchen. And then, you know, I added a bunch of the accessories to the shelves. I added a coffee pot and the Tea Magic personal brewer. I find it funny that it's almost like a coffee maker, really, but it's in tea form, because in the UK pretty much every house will have a kettle, and it will just be like called a kettle, but in The Sims it's like a whole thing. It really shows that it's an American game, because it never seems to come with a kettle in the base game, or probably in later expansions in some of the games. They always have like a coffee maker as well, which is not too common here, but like every house will have a kettle, and then they'll use the kettle to make coffee as well as tea. And I did use a bunch of custom content, like obviously the pillows were custom content, some of the pictures I used in the kitchen, and a bunch of the other accessories, just to give it some more personality. I've actually uploaded this lot to the gallery, and there are 2 versions, one without custom content and one with. I know like when you download stuff from the gallery it's kind of a nightmare including custom content, because you know you have to like link outside of the gallery. There's not a lot of room in the description to add a bunch of links, and it's just kind of a hassle, and of course it's not included in the build. If you upload something, the custom content won't be included, so only the Maxis objects will be included. But yeah, if you do want to download this build, my gallery ID will be in the description of the video, so you can find it in the gallery. I went with a kind of black and purple theme for the master bedroom, and the bathroom ended up being black too. I was aware that I was like building a lot of really white and pale rooms, and I haven't like
use dark colours too much actually in general, like for a bathroom, so I thought like I'd mix it up a bit with this one and make it like a very black and dark kind of themed room. And I added like a few candles, and I used the Realm of Magic bears and added some pillows and an ottoman by it, and you know, a dressing table from Glamour Life stuff, put some pillows on the ottoman, and I added like a little bar, the globe bar, because I thought that sort of fit in with the other stuff. So yeah, for the nursery bathroom, I decided to like add a little ship and a palm tree, so it seemed like a kind of shipwrecked desert island kind of thing, and I added like the little toy sea squid because I thought that would sort of fit the theme, and I kind of like, I altered the size of them so they were bigger. And you've got like a little rubber ducky there as well. I add like rubber duckies to like all of the kids' bedrooms in my houses. Like they have to have, like if they have an ensuite bathroom, I'll always add a duck.
I really like the newspaper wallpaper, but there aren't a lot of uses for it, but I decided to put it in the secret office area of the library because I thought it sort of fit in there. But yeah, you can't, it's not really like something that you can use a lot, but it's a pretty cool wallpaper. So then I just added like the thin, large bookcases because they kind of work really well in a library, and I used the Move Objects sheet to put them around like the edges of the wall, and have some of them like join straight without like a gap in between them, so I used the Move Object sheet to get them close together. So in a similar way to how I created the little ottoman area underneath the stairs above, I decided to create like a couple of alcoves in the library with windows on, so it would look sort of like the image here. And then I just added like little black tables underneath them to create like a similar kind of effect with like the little shelf area they have there, and I put a bunch of like stuff on it, like statue heads and some bookcases and other bits and pieces, and a light in the middle so that area was illuminated. And then like obviously you've got the pool view through the windows, so yeah, I thought that would like make the library area a bit more interesting. And then I added some computer desks and sofas and that painting on the wall. So I'm not entirely happy with how the front of the build turned out, and there's some other things that are a little awkward looking, but I do like the back of the build, probably because that's the one that was most based on the images I was looking at, and I think it'll be, I especially like the bar area by the pool, and I think it'll probably be kind of a fun house to play, although it is super expensive, so only incredibly rich Sims will be able to play it. So I think this video covers maybe a third of the overall build. If you are interested in watching the whole thing, as I said, I have included a link in the description to the full build, but it's a really long video, which is why I decided to just focus on the parts that I found more interesting for this one. So yeah, if you like the build, you can download it from the gallery, and my origin ID is in the description. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any thoughts about this build or anything else, leave them in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time.